Today's story is about a Chicago guitarist who got so famous that he has his own beat. With bouncy rhythms and a distinctive guitar playing, this guy, named the originator, transformed blues into rock and helped usher in a new age of music. The subject of today's story is about none other than Bo Diddley. Before we get started in today's video, please be sure to leave a like on the video, subscribe to the channel, and push that notification bell to stay up to date. Now without further ado, let's cue that intro. Born Elias Bates on December 30th, 1928 in McComb, Mississippi. Now, some records claim that he was given the name Elias Bates or Elias Otha. However, Diddley addressed this in a 2001 interview, claiming, "That's why I have the name Elias Bates McDaniel." Now that's cleared up. Somebody done read something. My name is not Otha. If you read that in a book someplace, I don't know where they got that Otha from, but somebody decided, well, since we don't know his name, let's give him one. Diddley, he was a sole child of Ether Wilson, a teenage mother who would raise him without his father, Eugene Bates, who was absent. Because his mother was just 16 years old and couldn't support him, she would give him away to her cousin, Gussie McDaniel, who would raise Diddley as her own and give him her surname. The only father figure that Diddley had throughout his whole life would pass away when he was 5 years old. After McDaniel's husband passed away, she would move her family to the south side of Chicago. Now Diddley, he was raised in a home with 3 of his cousins who he referred to as his siblings. Now if you was from a church going family who went to church every Sunday like many black families, let's just say that you stayed in church. The Ebenezer Missionary Baptist Church was Diddley's place of worship. He would spend 12 years here from the age of 7 until the age of 19, studying the trombone and the violin under O.W. Frederick.
I started playing violin, at least I was taught classical music, and I was taught by Professor O.W. Frederick at Ebenezer Baptist Church in Chicago, Illinois, where I was raised up at.
He got quite good at the violin, but he became more interested in the cheerful, rhythmatic music that he heard at a nearby Pentecostal church, which inspired him to pick up a guitar. While attending Foster Vocational High School during the early 40s, he would teach himself how to play the instrument. In high school, this is where he would get the nickname Bo Diddley. At 13, he would have a chance to play with his friend Jerome Green. And Diddley, he would remember this by stating, "I had a regular guitar, a washed up bass, and a dude sanding on a sheet of paper, and Jerome had maracas shaking them, and man, it was lovely." Diddley, he would marry Louise Wellington after finishing high school, and a couple that was soon divorced just after 1 year of marriage. Now outside of music, Diddley, he started working odd jobs like construction, and he had a quick career in semi-pro boxing.
I said you were an amateur boxer, true?
Well, one time I was about 17, 18 years old.
Yeah?
I used to fool around, but I learned some sense.
Yeah. Where'd you fight? I mean, as a kid?
Around Chicago.
Yeah, no, this wasn't pro, just amateur stuff?
Just amateur stuff, you know.
Yeah.
I got smart.
Gave it up?
Yeah, well, you know, the guitar don't throw left hooks.
Yeah.
After getting laid off of his construction job, he decided to try his hand in music. Diddley, he would go out and buy an electric guitar just for the volume it could provide. At the age of 20, he would find the Langley Avenue Jive Cats, and they would start performing at the Chicago 708 Club. Diddley, he would use a disc cutter that belonged to one of his neighbors to record some singles. Next, he would promote the 2 singles that he recorded, "I'm a Man."
Now when I was a little boy, at the age of 5,
alongside Bo Diddley.
told it inside, baby, diamond ring.
The tape would eventually land in the hands of the Chess brothers, Leonard and Phil of Chess Records, the same label that was home of blue legends like Muddy Waters, Willie Dixon, Howlin' Wolf, and the chart-topping Chuck Berry. Both singles would be issued on the subsidiary label Checkers when the Chess brothers had Diddley re-record the tunes. Now these singles would eventually reach the top of the black charts. After this single, Diddley fame started to grow. One day he was overheard singing and was approached by a member of the staff who worked on the Ed Sullivan show, who invited him to perform on the show. Now, when Diddley was scheduled to make his first televised appearance on November 20th, 1955, according to the tale, Diddley, he would glimpse at the program and he would see that it says Bo Diddley 16 tons hours before he was scheduled to come out. Diddley, he would go on to sing 16 tons by Merle Travis and his own self-proclaimed hit, Bo Diddley. Now, at the time, he didn't realize that he had misread the program. He thought that he was set to perform 16 tons in his own hit. Sullivan, he would interrupt him mid-song and eventually kick him off his program for not paying attention. He would also inform Diddley that he would never succeed in the show business. Despite this, Diddley, he solidified his status as a rock and roll pioneer, which catapulted him to stardom. When Diddley's self-titled debut album was released in 1958, it had 4 smash singles, including the 2 songs that was already mentioned, as well as Diddley Daddy and Pretty Thing. Between the years of 1958 and 1963, Diddley, he would release 11 albums. Between those years, he will see chart success with the singles Say Man,
And the wind was blowing real hard. Is that right?
I'm Sorry,
Oh, I'm sorry.
Cracking Up,
You're always hollering about where I've been.
Say Man Back Again,
I was out with your girl. Is that right? Yeah.
Road Runner,
I'm a road runner, honey, and you can't keep up with me.
and You Can't Judge a Book by the Cover.
Oh, you misjudged me.
During the 60s, Diddley, he broke through to white audience by performing at an Alan Freed concert where he would receive excellent reviews. Now Diddley, he would set himself apart from other musicians by avoiding the teenage crowd. He would just simply compose the music that he desired.
My music is clean, and I don't copy anybody. I'm a creator. I call myself a professor of gimmicks, you know, and I put the gimmicks into music because I play the guitar as if I was playing drums. And that to me is a type of gimmick, and it works.
He was also one of the musicians that profited from the mid-60s beach party craze. He would release beach-themed albums at this time, including Surfing with Bo Diddley and Bo Diddley's Beach Party. Diddley was recognized for his distinctive sound, which could be described as severely distorted blues, blended notes, and minor key riffs. This would be known as the Bo Diddley beat. Diddley, he would join the Everly Brothers, Little Richard, and the Rolling Stones, who were relatively unknown around this time on the UK tour in 1963. Now Diddley, he would also dabble in songwriting, composing some songs for Mickey and Sullivan with the song Love is Strange, and Mama Can I Go Out for Joanne Campbell. In 1959, Diddley, he would relocate to the nation's capital where he would build his first house, completed with a full recording studio in his basement. In addition to offering some assistance and opening up his studio to local musicians, he also produced and recorded with a number of up-and-coming DC groups. One of the early recording sessions was with a local doo-wop group named the Marquis, which included Marvin Gaye. He was also known to be a major contributing influence in the Marquis and signing their first deal with OK Records. Diddley took the group to New York on September 25th, 1957 to record their most notable single. This section was produced by Diddley. After this single failed to chart, Diddley, he would push some new levers to obtain Marvin Gaye, who was the group's most talented singer, a new contract. He would get the Moonglows founder, Harvey Fuqua, to recruit Gaye. Now after hearing Fuqua, he would recruit Gaye and they would move to Detroit. Who knew that Marvin would go on to become such a legend in Detroit? Diddley, he's an opportunist who enjoyed giving people a chance. Diddley's fame expanded during a decade where he would move from performing in bars to stadiums. Diddley, he traveled widely throughout the 60s and 70s, would help him establish himself as a well-known and respected performer. Now Diddley, he would try his hand at acting in the 1983 film Trading Places, where he played the Philly pawn shop owner. In 1989, he appeared in a television commercial alongside baseball and football star Bo Jackson for the Bo Knows commercials.
Bo knows baseball. Bo knows football. Bo knows basketball too. Bo knows tennis?
Bo knows running.
No.
Bo knows cycling.
Bo knows weight. Bo, you don't know Diddley.
This was an agreement that he had with Nike, which turned nasty as the partnership came to an end some time ago. Now Nike, they will still go on to produce a t-shirt of his likeness that said "You don't know Diddley." Given that the two negotiations were terminated and no agreement was reached, Diddley, he believed that Nike was infringing on his copyright. The fact that the shirt was still launched 10 years after the original collaboration. Now Diddley, he will submit Nike a copyright infringement notice, but despite many cease and desist orders that Nike got, they disregarded. After 20 years, Diddley, he will release his final studio album titled A Man Amongst Men, which peaked at number 8 on the Billboard Top R&B Albums charts. As I already mentioned, Diddley, he was married at the age of 18, and the marriage, it had barely lasted a year. In 1949, he was married for the second time to Ethel Smith. In the two, they would have 2 children. In 1960, he was married again for the third time to a white lady named Kay Reynolds. Now, despite the fact that interracial marriage was frowned upon during this time, the couple would still get married and they would have 2 children. Diddley, he will soon marry his 4th wife, Sevilla Paez, in 1992. Now, even though he had so many wives, Diddley, he still made sure they all had an income by giving them a writing credit on his songs. Diddley, he also has 6 children and at least 15 grandchildren. Now Diddley, he will leave a massive legacy, collecting several accolades, including an induction into the Washington Era Musical Association Hall of Fame in 1986. That following year, he will be honored with a Lifetime Achievement Award for the Rhythm and Blues Foundation, in addition to being inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. He was also inducted into the Blues Hall of Fame in 2003 and the Rhythm and Blues Musical Hall of Fame in 2017, among many other accolades. Now Diddley, he would suffer from a stroke in 2007 following a performance that he had the previous day. Diddley, he battled diabetes and high blood pressure throughout his whole life, which is 2 main conditions that claim so many black lives. He had a stroke that impacted the left side of his brain, causing receptive and expressive speech difficulties. During that year, he would suffer a heart attack. Now Diddley, he would sadly pass away from heart failure on June 2nd, 2008 at the age of 79.
Rock pioneer and Chicago native Bo Diddley died today. He's remembered as one of the founding fathers of rock and roll. Bo Diddley grew up in Chicago. His first songs were recorded here.
In 2019, the Diddley family filed a lawsuit to reclaim ownership of his songs and image, and it was victorious. For his contribution to American popular music, Diddley, he received a Doctor of Fine Arts degree from the University of Florida after his passing. Bo Diddley stood out among the first rock and roll pioneers, which also included Little Richard, Jerry Lee Lewis, Chuck Berry, and Fats Domino. He was a rebel, a perfectionist, and a psychonic innovator who was obsessed with the sound of his guitar and how it might heighten the rhythm pulse of his music.